Welcome into the Young Dad Podcast. I'm Jay, and not with me today is my always so handsome co-host, Aaron. He's unfortunately not with us today, so you don't get his classic "sup, people." However, today with me is a great friend of mine, host of the Baseball Together podcast, as they call him in the street, Blackjack Brad. Brad, greet the people and tell us a little bit about yourself.
What is up, people? I am Brad. Like Jay said, I am the co-host of the Baseball Together podcast and co-host also of Willie B and Dad Gaming on YouTube.
Love it. And if you've heard us before somewhere else, you would recognize both of us from Seattle Baseball Together, which is currently in hibernation for the off season.
That's
but
right.
We're not here to talk about baseball. We have a great episode up for you today. We got a quick little two-way debate between Brad and I. And then we're going to grill Brad as he will give us some insight on what it's like for him and how it's changed him having a child that's on the spectrum. And then lastly, we're going to end with one of the best toy brands, Fisher-Price, doing a draft. So grab a juice box, grab a snack, and let's talk. Hey, you. Yes, you. Did you know that we have some amazing deals and brands that we work with that are all in one convenient place? You didn't? Well, let me tell you about it. Our Linktree, linktr.ee/ballboyblog has everything you can want for all of our deals. You can find all of our social medias, our Movember fundraiser, Danos, Coldest Water, Everlast, and Fanatics. It's that time of year where it's time to start thinking about what you're going to get your loved ones for the holidays. Check out our Linktree for some amazing things. Support the podcast, give back, and give forward. We work with brands that we use. We love them. We trust them. We know that you'll love them too. And a big thank you to our live studio audience. So we're going to get into a quick little two-way debate here today. There was going to be three, but now we're two, which is what it is. Brad, peanut butter or Nutella, and why?
Always Nutella 1,000% of the time because I am allergic to peanut butter.
Okay, that's kind of a gimme on that one. I can't even argue back for peanut butter. I like peanut butter personally more because I'm not allergic to it. But also Nutella is way too rich. Oh
my gosh, I love Nutella so much. Like, you can just pump it in my veins. But like the other thing too, though, with peanut butter is I don't know if it's just because I haven't gotten used to the taste over the years because I don't eat it ever on purpose, or if it's because it means like death to me. But I absolutely hate the taste of peanut butter and peanuts.
Because it means like death to you. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is because it tastes literally like death to me, and because I haven't gotten used to it. But there's a whole thing here. I used to have like way more allergies. I grew out of them. Like, I loved coconut when I was allergic to it.
Whoa.
So
can't do
like
coconut.
roasted coconut, yum. But anyway, so it's not necessarily always the allergy, but the peanut allergy is so severe that I guess I could see that, like, literally it tastes like death, so I'm not ever going to like it probably.
See, I just like peanut butter and jellies. Like, I've had Nutella sandwiches. I had them a bunch in high school because that's when it was like super popular, like 10, 12 years ago, when it was like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could get the big old tub of it at Costco. You remember those?
Oh yeah, we buy those.
Those are, but like the super massive ones.
I think that's the one that we buy.
Oh, do they still have them?
I think so.
Oh,
I don't know. We buy a big jar of it because I like it on toast. It's really good because I'm like 12.
It tastes awesome on toast, but I just prefer peanut butter. Nutella's just too rich. I have to have it in moderation.
And I get that. All
right, next question for you: should people be allowed to go barefoot anywhere they go, and why?
Absolutely not. That's a health hazard. Like, not just for you, but for other people. That's gross.
That is pretty gross, but that is coming from the man who's in Arizona.
I wear flip flops. I don't go barefoot.
That's
Like,
basically the same thing.
so you gotta have the bottom of your feet covered up when you go places because, like, well, I mean, there's like broken glass anywhere, right?
It's true.
Especially down here, it seems like it's all over the place. But
true.
There's also like you don't want to get a hookworm. That's disgusting.
That's true, and I guess the bottom of your feet do release like toxins and stuff.
And yeah, like, something like that. And if
you have like all the pores on the bottom of your feet, right?
Like, yeah, and if you got like athlete's foot, I don't want somebody walking around with athlete's foot like the produce section at Walmart.
People do that anyway, though, at Walmart.
I know, you're right. They shouldn't, though. They shouldn't.
I mean, if everyone went barefoot everywhere, though, wouldn't like that stuff like go away, though?
I don't think so. I don't think it would like kill itself.
Or do you think they would
just
like
get stronger?
Probably would. Yeah, you're probably right. You know, I was on the side of going barefoot everywhere because I hate wearing socks and shoes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm barefoot 9 months out of the year. I'm currently wearing socks because it's cold in Arizona right now, relatively speaking.
Okay, how cold is cold, Brad?
60 degrees.
Oh, you poor thing. It's 30 degrees here. I was in a hoodie.
I've been in a hoodie, socks. I've been in a hoodie, socks, and sweats all day long.
Oh, woe is you.
With the hood up.
Oh my gosh, wow. All right, guys, so if you live in Arizona, I feel so bad for you that it's 60 degrees, but if you live in Southeast Washington or anywhere that's on a normal climate schedule, it is probably in the 30s.
Most places in the U.S., yeah, I'd say that.
Join me in saying, Brad, suck it up. Is it better to be Instagram famous or TikTok famous?
These days, I'd say TikTok famous.
You know, I'm going to go Instagram famous.
Are you? Why is that?
Okay, so I think Instagram famous because TikTok's great and all, right? But we're both creators, and we have seen, like, through our own research, I'm sure, I've seen that people get more from Instagram and make more off Instagram than they do TikTok. Like, TikTok's payout's really bad, but Instagram's, like, better. And it's easier to, like, be an influencer on Instagram than it is TikTok.
So I think it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if you're trying to sell products, you know, like you're trying to, like, you do like affiliate marketing. I do think Instagram is the way to go because you can tag products and links and stuff in your reels and in your posts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think these days, big companies are reaching out to the elite TikTok creators and actually bringing them on board commercials. Like, I've seen how many TikTok creators have we seen in commercial, like legit, like TV commercials, right?
Yeah, like
I haven't
Elise
seen
Myers, Liz Pearsall.
Yeah.
But they're also big on TikTok. They're also big on Instagram. Like, those same creators are also pretty big on Instagram as well.
They are, yeah, and I think that they come mostly from TikTok. Like, Straw Hat Goofy does stuff like before the movies at the theaters now. And I've never seen him on Instagram. I've only ever seen him on TikTok. And he has like a legitimate, like, high paying job now because of his movie reviews on TikTok.
Huh. I mean, I think they're pretty close, but for some reason, in my head, I see Instagram more just because you also have the reach with Meta.
Yeah.
And that connection there. So it, like, you're automatically connected to Facebook. So you basically have two platforms in one.
Right.
For your videos, for your pictures and stuff to be pushed and whatnot. So you're kind of covering two platforms in one. But TikTok is the biggest app out there right now.
As far as vertical content goes, I think YouTube's going to be the way to go in the new year.
Oh, I agree. I feel like
with YouTube Shorts and their new monetization with Shorts, that's going to be a huge deal. Like, yeah, that's something I'm working toward. I'm like, I could do 10 million. I get 10 million views on my Shorts in 90 days if I have 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, for sure.
And they're keeping them short too. They're not expanding their range. I think that's
the key.
I think that's where TikTok's kind of fallen off a little bit.
Dude,
they expanded to 3 minutes.
I was told on on one of my TikTok accounts that I could post up to 10 minutes.
Yes, yeah, it's 10 minutes now.
I was like, I will never post a 10-minute video on TikTok because I would never watch anything that long. Absolutely
No,
not.
I'm going to put it on YouTube because you don't watch 10-minute videos on TikTok. You watch 1 to 3 minute videos on TikTok.
Exactly.
Even then, when it starts to go past 2 minutes, like it better have a good story once you get past that minute.
Yeah, it better hold me or absolutely.
I'm gone. But it only needs a certain amount to get. We don't got to get into that. But that's where I think Instagram and YouTube have it better is that they keep it like 60 seconds or less. You have to keep it in that way. So a lot of TikToks don't translate.
I found that the shorts that perform the best on YouTube even are 15 seconds or less.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that they push more. So
yeah,
I'm definitely with you there.
Those are the ones that get thousands of views in 20 minutes.
Yeah, agreed. I'm definitely with you there. I think I'm also going to be pushing out some more, 15-second videos just over come the new year on YouTube. So
yeah,
we're going to be YouTube famous. We're going to be hanging out with Mr. Beast before we know it.
That's the plan.
All right, lastly, Brad, we have a running tally here on the show. This one's like the most important question you will answer today. Well, Probably not, but for the people it is. Does pineapple belong / go on pizza?
Never.
All right, you can stay. You can stay.
I appreciate that.
I'm in the court of no. Our guest a few weeks ago, Craig, is in the bed of no. You're with no, but Aaron is the only person that is on board with pineapple on pizza so far. So it's 3-1. So we have him cornered.
I'd eat anchovies on my pizza before I eat pineapple on it.
Okay, that's just too far. That's just too far. That's gross. I would rather go pineapple over anchovies.
The only reason I say that is because I've done both of them by accident. The one I spit out was the pineapple.
Oh. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with you today. Do you want to give someone just an amazing gift this holiday season? Well, let me help you out. You know someone that loves to cook, loves flavor, but doesn't love all the extra things that come in your normal store-bought seasoning? That's why Danos is amazing. Low sodium, 0 calories, all natural ingredients, 4 amazing flavors. Original, everything bagel, spicy, and chipotle. It's all natural, it's low sodium, it's Danos seasoning. Yum, yum. Get you some. Use our link in our link tree. Use our code BALLBOY at checkout to save some money, support your favorite podcast, and to give someone some amazing flavor this holiday season. Well, our audience is excited to have you, Brad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And they are on board with you being on Team Pineapple, not on pizza. So they appreciate that. All of our live studio audience is pre-screened for their preference. So, and I have to approve them. So, Brad, you have 2 children, 2 kids, correct?
I do, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. 8-year-old boy and 6-year-old girl.
Awesome. And you've been married for 14, going on 15 years, according to your wife's Facebook.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Dang.
I can't believe it's been that long.
That is a long time. That's 3 times as long as I was married for. And you are also a heck of a baseball content creator. You're an awesome friend. However, you and I have never really talked much of outside of our family dynamics and baseball. So we're going to change that now that you're on this side of it and you're coasting today. Tell me a little bit about both your kids.
So let's start with Wilson first. So Wilson is 8 years old. He's typical, and he is, and I say that in so many ways that he's also a typical boy. He walks around our house pretending to shoot us because he thinks it's funny. He loves all the things that fart jokes and everything and burping that goes along with being an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a ton of fun. We have so much fun with Wilson. He's a he's a great kid. He's a great brother to his sister. Like we tell him that all the time, just because we feel like that's something that's really important. That he's really patient with her, because it's hard to be patient with a sister who's as severely autistic as Stella is. So Stella's 6. She's on the spectrum. She's level 3 nonverbal autistic. When she was initially diagnosed when she was 2. I guess we could just get into it. Do you mind if we just get into it with Stella right now?
Yeah, let's definitely get into it with Stella.
Okay.
So, again, she also has a special diagnosis, correct? So she's on the spectrum,
Right.
like you
And
just
so,
explained.
yeah, so she was diagnosed when she was 2 with level 2 nonverbal autism. And
Okay.
then she had, and it's crazy how it came about, because my wife, like, we moved to Idaho, and one day she's like, I don't think she can hear us. I was like, what do you mean? Of course she can hear us. She was like, no, watch. And she's sitting there on the floor, and she calls her name, and she never answered. I'm like, oh. So we took her in and got her hearing checked, and turned out she had a ton of fluid behind her ears, and the doctor's like, she needs to get tubes. We're like, okay. And at this point, her speech was delayed, and they assumed it was because of the fluid behind her ears.
Okay.
So they with the infant toddler program, they came to the house. They were doing an evaluation to get her ready for speech therapy, but within like 5 minutes of being there, the conversation shifted from speech therapy to asking questions about her potentially having autism. And we're kind of like, huh, okay. Hadn't thought about it, but we're seeing it now. So,
yeah.
Because, we were thinking about certain things she did around the house, and it got to be more pronounced as she got to be a little bit older. And before we were actually able, it was like 6 to 8 months or something like that before we were ever able to get in to meet with the autism doctor to get an official diagnosis. But we saw stuff around the house, like she would get toys and she would perfectly line them up, like perfectly lined up.
At 2 years old.
At 2 years old. Yeah.
Huh.
Like, well, and like there were sometimes too, she'd sit and she would put stuff in front of her. It was exactly to the edge of her reach, and she would have a perfect radius of toys. It was almost like an arch around her, and she would line up shoes with all the toes pointing in, and they would be a perfect arch out in front of her. And so just like really sequential things like that. And there were some behavioral things, like leaving anywhere, or like really big fits that probably were not quite appropriate for a 2-year-old, things like that, And so we knew, like, we had a really good idea before we ever got a diagnosis that Stella was likely to have autism. We just didn't know how severe. And so we got that diagnosis when she was 2, and the doctor was like, but with years of therapy, I was like, she's 2, right? He's like, yeah. Like, she could eventually get to the point where she grows out of it. So anyway, fast forward to when she gets her tubes. She had to have them done twice. And so the second time they're like, let's do some genetic testing and see if there's anything to go along with her autism diagnosis. And that's when they found out that she has a microdeletion. It's called, let me find it exactly. It's the deletion of the 2q23.1 chromosome. It's called a microdeletion because it's just like a tiny little thing that's not there. And it's part of MBD5 or MANS. And so that is actually what has caused her autism. So things that go along with that, motor delays, severe speech and language impairment, which is where that comes from with her. Like I said, autism is a big part of it. Short attention span, self-injury. Sometimes she'll like hit herself or hit her head against the wall, things like that. She's actually gotten a lot better with therapy, which is really good, because sometimes that's kind of scary stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But like sleep disturbance, she has an irregular sleep schedule. Like a lot of times, used to, like clockwork, she would wake up at 12:30 in the middle of the night. Like we have a baby monitor for her just so we can hear her, and we would hear her wake up and start playing in the middle of the night, like 12:30 every single night. It was crazy. And another one that we haven't seen yet, knocking on wood for this one, is seizures. That's a big thing. A high percentage of people with this genetic disorder will get seizures. But like I said, we're fortunate so far to not have seen those yet. And then something else that's really interesting is hypotonia, which is low muscle tone. It's basically like her, like the way it was explained to me is that like her tendons are like loose rubber bands. So it's harder for her to do for her to even like walk. right? It's like she can walk and run and jump and everything like a normal kid, like a normal 6-year-old, but she gets tired really easily because it's harder for her to do those things because she has to pull harder to like lift her legs and things like that. So we have an adaptive stroller for her that we take her to the zoo in, and we push her around it, and we take that everywhere we go. We have a handicap parking placard so that she doesn't have to walk from like the back of a parking lot. Even though sometimes we do, like if we go to Walmart, we'll park in the back of the parking lot just to get her the exercise. And then when we come out, since she's probably tired from walking around the store, we put her in the car and we can push her out the rest of the way.
Makes sense.
So things like that. But like I said, we go to the zoo and we park at the front because we don't want to have her walk,
Yeah.
however far.
I've been to the Phoenix Zoo a few times, and it's great. If you love playing Pokemon Go, the Phoenix Zoo is like a must.
It is. You're right.
It's great for that. But I can also see how with her, I mean, she's 6. 6-year-olds as it is don't have enough stamina for the Phoenix Zoo.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be...
She would be tuckered out and walking in from the parking lot if we had to park in the back.
And then it would just be no fun for her.
Yeah. Well, and especially since she's a pretty big kid. Like I think she's like an inch taller than Wilson.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of them side by side, and
she's a big kid. Like, there's no carrying Stella out of the zoo. I've done it once. I did it once when we first moved here, and I'm never going to do it again because my back hurt the next day.
Well, and it's so hot too. Like, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was super informative. I'm a human services. That's what my bachelor's is in.
Oh, right.
So I have some pretty good experience with like autism and learning about these things and studying it and all that fun stuff. But you probably explained that better than I would have ever researched.
Well, I live it every day. And one of the things that I love with Stella is that we decided we're done with kids. Like, Stella is a lot of maintenance, and she requires a whole lot of attention. And we figure, you know what, she requires a lot of attention. Her brother is going to need a lot of attention. So it's like, we're done with kids. But one of the things that's nice that we love is that like she's like a forever baby, because developmentally she's like anywhere between 18 months and 6 years in certain areas. Like, she can read sight words. Right. Like, I actually found that out last weekend. I put words on my phone. I was like, Stella, what does this say? And she's reading things like bicycle.
Huh.
It was really interesting to see. But at the same time, though, like, she goes to bed every night and she has like little plastic toys, like toy food that's Velcro that you cut with a plastic knife.
Yep.
Because that's her toy of choice in the middle of the night when she wakes up.
Makes sense.
You know, and she sleeps in like an enclosed tent so that she doesn't get up and wander when she wakes up. So
that makes sense. Like that, those actually,
because she's too big for a crib.
Cool. Yeah. No, that's all just like super interesting, because of course you learn as you go with something, with having a child like Stella, where certain things she's going to be 6, certain things she might be 18 months.
Yeah.
And so just for you as her dad, I put father in the doc, but father just sounds like
so official.
So official. But being a dad is hard enough. And when you have to add in pretty much, I mean, that makes sense now talking to you about it. It just clicked, light bulb went off, spectrum. It's a spectrum for everything. Mm-hmm. And it's only going to grow as time goes on.
Right, yeah, and that's one of the things is that, like, I don't feel like you can put any two people or kids with autism like in the same spot on the spectrum, and that's why they call it a spectrum, is because like I have a cousin with autism and she's married and they live out on their own and everything, and she's incredibly high functioning. She's working on getting a bachelor's degree in something biological. I don't know. She's a genius. She's super smart. And then you got Stella, who is going to live with us probably for the rest of her life, right? Because she's going to be a small child. So it truly is a spectrum within like the autism world. But then with Stella, she's the other thing we call her our forever baby. We also call her the mystery baby, just because you don't know what you're going to get from her day to day. You don't know what she's gonna surprise you with, because there's always something.
Yeah, I mean, because there are certain areas that are just there. She's constantly developing in so many all the different areas. They're just all over. They're all over the place, which I'm sure has this challenge. I can't even imagine how hard that must be, but also fun and exciting
it
at the
is
same
fun.
time.
It's a lot of fun, and it's really exciting because it's one of the things that's really fun. It's like this last weekend because she identified a song on the TV. It was a picture that had not been there before. She wanted to watch a Jingle Bells music video from Super Simple Songs. I'm sure you're familiar.
Very, yep.
And but the thumbnail was different. It was not one that she recognized. But so she identified. I'm sure she pointed out and recognized the words Jingle Bells. So she pointed at it because that's something she's learned to do. She's learned to point to a lot of things because she can't always communicate to us what she wants. And I was like, I wonder if she recognized the words. So that's when I started putting words on my phone, and we all just like I told her therapist last week. I was like, "This is amazing." She's like, I knew it. She's like, I knew she could. We just haven't gotten there yet. So yeah, she's always surprising us with things that she can or maybe can't do. It's a lot of fun to play around with.
Yeah, and yeah, it seems super fun. And it seems like there's so much that could be, that you and Mel could have both done for just kind of saying, oh, you know what, we're just going to chalk it up here. We're just going to chalk it up to that. We're just going to chalk it up to the diagnosis. But, just talking about it with you, it seems like you guys have just really embraced it. Like, full on 100%, like feet first into the deep end.
Well, I think that we did. And I think part of that is because she was so young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, we get a lot from a lot of people. They'll see us with her when she's like pitching a fit or something. She's like this giant 2-year-old, pitching a fit on the ground.
Yeah.
At like Walmart or whatever. People say to us all the time, like, "Oh my gosh, that must be so hard." And I'm like, no, it's not as hard as you think because my wife didn't give birth to a 6-year-old with autism, right?
Yeah.
So just like they say, you don't give birth to a teenager, you grow into it and you adapt as you go with them. That Stella, being Stella, is just our everyday. It's our normal, right? So we've learned to roll with the punches with Stella, sometimes literally.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's okay. But just kind of roll with that stuff. And
by my kids.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gotten to be one of those things where it's like, I think we really benefited from her being so young with her diagnosis and having a lot, I guess, a better idea of what was coming our way, especially when we got the genetic diagnosis. That was crazy because they told us at the time, they're like, there is like 100 people in the world with this diagnosis that we know of right now.
Dang.
And so my first thought at the time, I was like, well, Stella is elite.
Elite. Yeah, I mean, out of 3 billion people, or 7 billion? 11?
Something 7? Like that, I don't know.
With
a lot, and only about 100 diagnoses at a time. There's been more since then because my wife is part of a Facebook group, I think, that has like 1,000 people in it. So there's got to be more now. But yeah, it was like 10 years ago, there's only 100 people. And so it was like, it was really intense. We're like, dang, that's crazy.
No, that's often. And I love how you phrase that. Like, Stella's elite. Like, she's not different. She's elite.
Yeah, that's right.
Goes to the embracing. And honestly, shout out to that, whoever was doing that assessment for you at the beginning, saying, hey, I see this from my training. Have you guys considered this? Like, just having that conversation and bringing it up, because
seriously, Jewel, it was like the craziest thing. It was a speech therapist. I think we met her maybe 2 more times after that because she's passed off to a speech therapist, but she was like one of the evaluators, and the fact that she could see Stella within just a few minutes and be like, there's more going on than just her having fluid in her ears.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
no, that's
like, it was crazy.
That's so huge. Like, shout out to whoever that, human service professional is, like, because not all of, like, even people who I go to school with and talk to and have discussions with, like, they're not there. They don't just recognize it. And they're like, oh yeah, well, I would ask someone else to have this conversation, or I don't know, just based off this case study. It's like, how can you not tell? Like, yes, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. Like, that's what you need to address. Is what you need to bring up. Like, you have to have that conversation. So just going back there, like, huge shout out to that person. But for you, having, kind of a forever baby mystery mystery machine, Stella, how has that personally changed you as a dad and as a person?
Well, as a dad, it's certainly made me more patient. And I think more aware of how I react to things. Like there are some times where I hate that this happens. It happens to both of us sometimes that like Stella will be really hard when she's hard. It's like stretches because she has such a hard time coming down from her negative emotions. I shouldn't say negative emotions, from her big emotions. Like if she gets really sad about something, it can take her 30 to 45 minutes to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that happens, sometimes the tension in our house is really high because she gets destructive. She gets physical. Like I have a scar on my leg from her scratching me because she used to scratch a whole bunch. Knock on wood, that doesn't start again. She threw a water bottle and broke our TV at one point. Like a lot of that has toned down, but it can get really tense in our house. And sometimes, unfortunately, if Wilson is doing something and we snap at him because we're tense, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's made both of us, I feel like, really aware of our emotions and how we're feeling and basically any given moment with Stella, and also incredibly patient with him, because there are times that we just kind of have to be like, you know what, that's going to slide right now. Which,
yeah.
And Wilson being such a great brother that he is to her, that he understands that like there are times he just needs to leave the room and let Stella kind of do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let her, like, we'll stand against the wall so that she doesn't kick a hole in the wall, because that's happened before. And, we let her kick our legs, which is fine because she's not going to hurt us doing that. Mm-hmm. But then when that's going on, Wilson knows to go up to his room, go into the kitchen, something like that. So I think as everybody in our family, it helps, like I said, it helps a lot with that self-awareness, things like that. Like feel the room, what's going on, and kind of adjust how you're feeling, because we have to adapt ourselves to her because she can't adapt to us.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just like you're talking about Wilson, I mean, he's 8 and he's grown up with this from when he was 4. So he's
he was younger than that even when a lot of it started.
True, but he's really been able to, like, as he's learning, like, his emotional intelligence must just be off the charts for an 8-year-old.
It is, and part of that is we did have him go to therapy for like a year or so just to help, because we did know it was hard, and we knew it was going to be hard on him, because like I said before, like the attention that he gets is different than most kids his age, and so we've had a lot of talks with him about like when he was really little, it was Stella's brain works differently, so we kind of need to be patient with that. We need to understand that she's not going to do the things we want her to do all the time. She's not always going to be okay with the way things work. And so that's been really helpful for him. And he loves his sister too. And she loves him. So that helps a lot, that she thinks he's just the funniest kid around, that he can just do something silly and off the wall, and she just belly laughs. And he does it for 20 minutes and makes her laugh so hard she gets the hiccups.
Oh, no.
So they get along, they play really well together. Sometimes she really aggravates him. Sometimes he, because he's a kid, will push her buttons, and then he gets in trouble for it because then she's throwing stuff and getting mad.
Yeah, and
that's having kids.
Like, you know better, dude. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing? You know better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
But I think it's great because you and Wilson have a YouTube channel that you guys do together.
Yep, Willie B and Dad Gaming.
Which is just so cool. It's another thing, just, being a dad, that you have to adapt, like, per kid. Even, like, for me, with my 2 kids, like, one needs attention a certain way, one needs attention another way. Mm-hmm. And for you have to find that balance for both kids. Okay, Stella's going to need this attention, but what can I do really special for Wilson that's going to really mean a lot to him, kind of thing. And I just think that's amazing.
Right. And that is something that we actually go out of our way to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because Stella goes to therapy 5 days a week, year round. Like coming up this next week, like Wilson's going to be out of school for the entire week, and Stella will go to therapy Monday through Wednesday, Thanksgiving week. She has Thursday and Friday off for Thanksgiving. And we already decided before then, like, okay, that's 3 days with just Wilson. And what are we going to do? Like, I'm taking an extra day off work so that the three of us can go do something. And we do that a lot during the summer too, when Stella's still going to therapy and Wilson's home from school. You know, we think of things that we can go do, just the three of us, just so that he can get that individual time with mom and dad, and Wilson and Mel will go do stuff, just the two of them, a lot of the time too, during the summer. So that's something we talked about, and part of the reason, like I said, we decided not to have more kids, just so that he can have more individualized attention, because he needs it, you know, especially kids at his age. I feel like are going to need, he's not going to want it in 5 years, but he'll get it.
Yeah, he'll get it. He might not want it, but sucks to be him.
Yeah, as a teenager, he's definitely not going to want it, but
no, he's going to be like,
we'll be there to give it to him. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure, you know, that might change as far as like the parents and stuff, but I'm sure when it comes to like Stella, even when he's a teenager in 5 years, it's like, oh, you know, I got to be there for my sister, or I got to, you know, I really need to spend time with my sister, look out for my sister. Because, I mean, that's just being a big brother, having a little sister. And, I mean, that part of you only develops and grows and especially the way that you guys support him as an individual. That's only going to just help everything.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it is going to be interesting to watch how their dynamic changes, and see, like, because he's already kind of protective of her. So I'm interested. I'm curious to see how that develops over the years.
I'm sure it's only going to get more protective and more loving, and just awesome. So, Brad, what would you tell another dad in particular, or even just a parent, a mom or a dad, let's just say parent, but more so geared toward a dad, because dads can be really stubborn when it comes to having to admit there's something wrong with their kid. Because moms kind of know. That's just kind of a natural motherly instinct. Dads were A, probably oblivious, or B, we don't want to say it's my kid. It's something that's my kid. What would you tell that dad that is on the fence about having their child tested?
Well, the first thing is, if you have any concerns, do it. Like, because the sooner you find out that they need help, that there is some kind of issue, that maybe they're on the spectrum, then you can get them the help that they need. Like Stella, one of the first things the doctor told us is he said she qualifies for. It wasn't even qualifies. He says, I would recommend her getting 40 hours a week of ABA therapy, which is pretty intense.
Yeah, that's
beyond
a lot.
pretty
That's
intense.
a
That's super
job.
intense. Yeah, exactly. It's really intense, and it's really intense therapy. And he also said that she's going to need occupational therapy. She's going to need physical therapy, speech therapy. You know, so all of it. And so then it was like, as soon as we knew, we could get the ball rolling on that. And, you know, for a kid being diagnosed as level 3 nonverbal, Stella has a lot of words. She can label just about anything. She can, a lot of the times, tell us what she wants. She can sing songs. She can recite movies. One of her favorite things to do right now is, it's from Toy Story. She goes, will you boys stop it? Because that's one of her favorite movies. She'll just like walk around the house. Will you boys stop it? So she can quote movies and things like that. But the difference is that she's not communicative necessarily. Like, we cannot she's not conversational. That's what it is. Like, we pick her up from school and we say, Stella, did you have a good day today? And her scripted response is, if she had a good day, is to say, good day. You know, things like that. And and she knows, like, 99% of her communication is scripted. It's, when this happens, you say this. She sees somebody in the morning, she says, good morning, I'm glad you made it. Because that's what her therapist says to her when she gets there. Or one of her old therapists said. Okay. So, but she has gone from having no words to being able to say, gosh, she has a ton of words, like I said, for a kid who is nonverbal.
Yeah.
But that's because we were able to get her into speech therapy earlier, and we were able to get her into ABA therapy early, and get her into a center that works for her and works really well for her. And so I feel like if you have any concerns, if you have any any inkling that there might be something going on with your kid, I'd say get them tested immediately, just so you can get them in and get them the help they need right away. Because that was one of the things we thought we'd keep an eye out on, because like I said, I have actually a couple cousins with autism. And
Yeah.
so I was kind of like, let's keep an eye out just in case, because there's a pretty good chance,
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
because you never know. And I think you hit it perfectly there. If you have that inkling, if you're thinking about it, the worst thing they're gonna say is, "Yeah, there's something wrong with your kid. Let's do more testing and let's figure it out." That's why they have so many well checks between like birth and 3 years old. I mean, you go every 6 months for the first 3 years of their lives. Like, and they ask you, "Do you have any concerns? Do you have any concerns?" That's the pediatrician's job. That's what they're there for, because they understand that kids are hard. They went to school for 12, 15 years to understand these kids and to understand these different things. They know what they're looking for, but they're not at home with the kid. And so I 100% agree with you, just from the other side of it, being on like the caseworker side of it. Like, don't be afraid to go and ask your pediatrician, "Hey, can we set up an extra appointment? Like, this is concerning," or "I have this concern."
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to
don't sweep. Yeah, I would say don't sweep it under the rug.
100%.
Even if it's something small. Like Stella, Mel thinking that, like I said, it all started with Mel thinking that Stella couldn't hear us, and that got the ball rolling on everything. So anything at all.
Agreed. And lastly, what is a piece of advice or two for a new / expecting father of their first kid who may have recently been told by a doctor that their child's on the spectrum? Like, that first like moment, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's like hitting me." What would you tell that dad?
Honestly, the biggest thing is get together with your spouse, your partner, your wife, and decide that you're going to be a team with everything, because the divorce rate among parents with an autistic child is like, it's 80%.
That's crazy, because the normal rate is 50% or something now.
Yeah, before Stella was diagnosed, I saw that it was like 60, but it's up to 80%. So for me, I think the biggest thing is just like, decide early that you and your wife or your partner, whoever, that you're going to work together to make sure that you get your child the help that they need. Because because we brought that up to the doctor. It's like, wow, like, why is the divorce rate so high? And he said it's because of this. Because 99% of the time, or probably 80% of the time, the wife is in charge, the mom is in charge of taking care of the care for the child, because the dad is working typically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's what happens a lot. And so what goes on, or whichever parent is in charge of like lining up the care for the child, the other one is like, well, just fix it, just figure it out, just get it done. Yeah. Right? So then
very unsupportive.
The other parent is in it alone, right? So I feel like you have to establish early that you're going to be a team in figuring out the best path of care for your child. And not only will that work out really well for you, but it will also work out better for the child.
Dude, I love
that. Because then they'll be on the path to getting the best care for them.
I love that. And even if, the two parties do get divorced, even in the case of a divorce with a child who's on the spectrum, even without children on the spectrum, like, you still have to agree that you're a team, that you're in it for the best outcome of the child.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the two parties, the couple that has the child on the spectrum, they're planning on getting divorced or they're wanting to get divorced, like, still be that team. I 100% agree with you. I think that's super important. I didn't even think about that, but that makes sense, because you have to be on the same page. You have to communicate. You have to really push your relationship and expand your relationship to that point where there's more communication, where there's over communication, there's more compromise, and there's more sacrifice on both ends.
Right. And one of the things is, it's not easy to do that either, because like Mel and I feel like to this point, we've been really good about working together with things. But I mean, I work all day now, and Stella's getting ready to age out of her therapy center, so we got to find a new place for her next year. And so she's been working really, really hard finding a new place, and she's going and touring, interviewing therapists and things like that, while I'm sitting at home working from home, right? So because I can't go do those things with her, instead she has to come back and tell me about them. But she's got to go through the stress of going through. Talking to these people, doing these tours, and even like getting Stella evaluated with the school district, right? Mm-hmm. Like that was a terrible experience because they were pushing so many buttons for her, but I was sitting at home working, Yeah. And so in that case, the best thing I can do is be supportive and put in as much input in toward the care as possible, and be supportive of Mel that recognizing that this is not easy, that this is hard, and that to this point she's been doing this much by herself. And so I think that that's another thing too, is recognizing what the other person is doing, and supporting them that way.
I think that's awesome, because yes, you're kind of limited on what you can do for input and kind of being present for that, but you're supporting your partner, you're supporting your wife, you're supporting her as a person as she goes through all this,
Mm-hmm.
However that looks like for you, at home or whatever it might be, but you're supporting her in the ways that she needs supported so that she can do those things. And I think that's perfect. My only thing that I can think of for this is, you kind of hit it early as you were kind of talking about all this, is embrace it.
Yeah.
Really,
and you have to. I mean, it's your new normal is the big thing. So you can't fight it, you can't run from it. You've got to embrace it, and it's gonna be messy and it's gonna be really hard. But a lot I feel like most of the time with Stella, it's really fun because she's really fun to play with because she's just a big baby.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. We're gonna take another quick break. Then we're gonna do a special draft. Do you guys know something I love more than almost anything? Is water. I love cold water from a reusable water bottle. I love water bottles that have an amazing wood finish. I love water bottles that keep your water cold for more than 24 hours at a time, even in the most extreme heat. I love shaker bottles. I love gallon water bottles. I love can koozies. I love custom dog bowls, shaker bottles, bedding, sheets, pillows, comforters, pillowcases, extra accessories, ice packs, tons of different gifts for him, for her, gift cards. You can get all these and save money at coldest.com. Coldest water brand, the coldest water bottle, the coldest dog bowl, the coldest can coolie, the coldest sheets, the coldest pillow, the coldest everything. They're all amazing, and they're all on a site-wide Black Friday sale right now. Save some money, save some extra money when you use code BALLBOY10 at checkout. You can get the new sports finish. You can get the 1 gallon jug. You can get tumblers, mugs, classic bottles, and can coolers, and so much more at thecoldest.com. Check it out. Use code BALLBOY. Use the link in our link tree. However you want to get there. Thank us later by getting someone an amazing gift this holiday season, or treat yourself. You deserve it. You earn it. You deserve to have cold water. Treat yourself. Thank us later. They're clapping for you, Brad.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Dude, our live studio audience, I'm telling you, next level. We pay them. I mean, they volunteer their time. They're amazing. The draft for today's episode is super special. So I asked Brad what was one of Stella's favorite category of things in life. And he was super confused at first because I did not do it justice explaining it, but he's used to that at this point, because I will ask him open-ended questions and he's just like, huh? And then I have to re-ask it like 3 more times until he finally gets it. It's not the first time this has happened, correct?
That's right.
And we finally figured it out. I finally explained it a way that he understood it because I'm bad at explaining things. And he said that she is obsessed in all capital letters, OBSESSED, with Fisher Price branded toys. And I was like, yep, that's it right there. So we're going to do 4 rounds, 4 picks. We're going to put together a toy basket using only Fisher Price branded toys. Don't say that 3 times fast, please. And then, Brad, at the end of the draft, I want you to share each of our toy baskets, if you would, with Stella so that she will pick an honorary winner for this draft.
Okay.
No extra bias on your toys. Don't say yours a little bit more exciting to make yours seem cooler, okay? None of that. All right, and you get the first pick since you're my guest.
Oh, the number 1 pick for Stella is always going to be Fisher Price, like Little People Animals.
Dang it. Oh, I love my girls love little people.
No, the animals. Not the people, the animals. The Little People animals.
Okay. Yeah, I got my youngest one for, what was it? It was something, but I got her the, like, safari set.
Okay,
it has, like, the monkey and stuff.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And it makes, like, the animal noises when you press the truck.
Okay, yeah. She has an elephant that you push and it like, plays the trumpet. But the big thing with her is that she takes him into the bath and she holds him up. She has a mirror with her everywhere she goes. She has a special one she takes in the bath with her. And what she'll do is she'll hold it up. She'll hold up like the chimpanzee to the mirror and go, chimpanzee. And she'll flick it into the water. And then she'll grab the alligator. Alligator. Flick it into the water. She just identifies them. She just, like I said, she likes to label things. So she'll label the animal and just flick it into the water. And she'll do that for like 45 minutes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. Oh my goodness. My dog's barking, but that's okay. He likes to bark. Aaron's honorary pick. Aaron would have the second pick here. He picked the Fisher Price buggy. So that's his first pick, is the Fisher Price buggy. Then we go to me, and I'm actually going to kick it old school Fisher Price here. You can still get these, but it's the classic, back when we were in elementary school, the clock.
The clock?
Like, do you see it? It has like the little yellow handle on the top. It looks like a barn.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The classic teaching clock. So it teaches you like the times and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my time so fast with that thing.
I bet you did.
So teaching clock is my pick, and we do snake drafts on this show.
It's the only way to do a draft.
It really is. And so I'm back on the clock here. And one thing they have right now that I personally really want to get my kids, but it looks just like way too much, is the Laugh and Learn Serving Up Fun food truck.
Oh, that's solid.
It's super cool. It is.
That's solid.
Like, I just like the color of it. It has like all this food. Like, it's super dope. Next would be Aaron's pick, and he wanted to go with the Fisher Price Playhouse. So just like that generic, like Fisher Price branded playhouse that you put up outside.
Yep.
That was his second pick. So now we're back to you when you're on the clock for 2 picks.
Okay. The first one is super easy. I'm going to go with the Frozen, specifically the Frozen castle that comes with Anna, Elsa, and Olaf.
That's so cool.
Little people.
Yes,
because Let It Go is a song that Stella can sing like almost start to finish.
Yes, that is so cool. So I have, in my house, I have the Frozen little people, but I got them with the little like chariot sled thingy that came with
like a Kristoff sled.
Yeah, well, no, it was Elsa's sled, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it had like, and then somehow I ended up, I don't remember how I got them, but I had like an Elsa, an Anna, an Olaf, a Kristoff, a Sven. Like, I have the whole gang.
Nice.
I don't know where they came from, but I have them all.
Yeah. Them.
You know. All right, you are back on the clock for your third pick.
If there's got to be a Fisher Price grocery set that comes with toy food. So I'm gonna
yes, I'm 90% sure there is.
So I'm gonna say like a if it like let's say just a Fisher Price grocery basket.
Okay, yeah, I'm like 90% sure there is because I'm pretty sure I have it.
Food.
I think it's at Walmart. You get the one that has like the Walmart basket in it.
Yes, we have it.
Yep, it's that one. Next pick would be Aaron. He needs two more. His next one is the Fisher Price T-ball set.
Ooh, that's actually a sneaky good pick.
That's a really good pick. Those are super cool.
Like for Stella specifically, that's sneaky good because Wilson has like a. It's not like squishy. It's like it's a plastic bat, but it's wrapped in like vinyl. Mm-hmm. And then there's like a squishy baseball that it came with. We got it at the Royal Spring Training Facility out in Surprise.
Okay.
And Stella actually picks that up and plays with it. She'll hit the ball around his room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. My next one, so I'm back on the clock now. I'm going to go with the Laugh and Learning Kitchen.
I think she used to have that one.
Yeah. It's a super cute little kitchenette. It comes with like a little mini refrigerator.
Yeah, and there's like a boiler on the stove or something like that.
Yeah, it's really interactive. A working oven door. Shapes, things to cook with. It's pretty freaking cool. So I'm gonna go with the kitchen. And then for my last pick, oh man. This is a lot harder than it should be. Because there's so many cool Fisher Price toys.
They're like the creme de la creme.
They're pretty cool. I'm going to go with, I'm looking at this like website. I'm looking at the Fisher Price website, trying to decide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go with the Laugh and Learn Magical Light Fish Bowl. So it comes with like 3 little fish, a little lobster, a star. It's like this little fish bowl. It's interactive. They learn letters, shapes, colors, numbers. I think it's kind of cool because it has like fish. It's a fish bowl. Lights up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's where we're going to go. Aaron's last pick, he wanted to pick the corn popper.
Oh, like the vacuum one?
Like the one that has like the one little handle and has like the little balls on the inside, and as you push it around, it like pops.
Okay, so I have to tell you this funny thing. So there is one thing in this world that Stella is absolutely like terrified of.
No.
And it is the vacuum.
No.
Like to the point that we have our hall closet downstairs that has just like random stuff in it, like that's where we'll get like the kids will hang there. We hang the kids' backpacks in there. Yeah. That's where like all of our extra paper is for Wilson to do his homework. So we keep the Play-Doh. We have kinetic sand, slime, all of like the sensory stuff. Mm-hmm. Anybody opens that door and she jumps up and goes over and is like ready to close it for us as soon as we're done.
No.
Because she used to scream when we would open it, but now she just is like, let me close that for you. Like she's ready to close it as soon as we open it.
She's like, nope.
Terrified of the vacuum cleaner.
Oh no. Also, kinetic sand, awesome.
Kinetic sand is pretty awesome. We also have slimy sand, which I think is actually better. It's really cool.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's a lot of fun to play with.
I'm going to get that for my kids for Christmas, but
do it.
Is it going to be for them? We'll see. Brad, close us out of this draft, if you will.
So, I'm having a hard time because, there it is. I found it. Okay, yep, now I can actually justify this pick. The Fisher Price ice cream cart.
Oh, okay.
She has the Leapfrog one, and she loves it. But since we're going Fisher Price specifically, there is a Fisher Price ice cream cart that is basically identical. Probably not as cool,
Probably
because
not.
not leapfrog, but
Probably because it's not
very
what
much.
she's used to. She'll probably be like, it's cool, I have this other one.
Yeah. Well, the leapfrog one is so interactive. Like you scoop the ice cream, and there's like little sensors on it, and it'll tell you what flavor it is.
Okay, the
Like there's,
leapfrog stuff is like super cool.
it's legit, man, and
Because
it's
they make
durable
it,
too,
oh, it's
because
super durable.
more than once she has sent that down the stairs.
I believe it. The leapfrog stuff is super, like, it's cool. It's some
Yeah.
cool stuff, and it's pretty in line with, like, price wise with like the Fisher Price stuff.
Yeah, you'd think that it would be outrageous because it's so nice, but no, it's
It's
reasonable for
definitely
sure.
more techy. Like their like little learning laptop is way more techy than the like Fisher Price like learning laptops and stuff. Like some
Yeah,
of their
yeah,
stuff
and you can
definitely has
like
other brands beat.
yeah, and you can like fold that laptop into a tablet.
Yep, I have one of those. I got it from my older one, but now it's my younger one's thing. I think it's at her mom's, but
Yeah.
it's super cool. It works. You can just like send email.
Yeah, every once in a while that we hear that at night because like she'll want to put it in her bed with her when she goes to bed. So
Okay.
we'll hear that at like 1 o'clock in the morning when
Oh
she
my!
sits up and starts playing with it.
She's got to work. She's got to
That's right.
work.
Got work to do.
Work to
Work never
do.
sleeps.
Never sleeps. Hustle. She's on that grind.
She is. Yeah.
All right. So to recap here, Brad, you compiled Little People Animals, the Frozen Castle, the Grocery Basket of Food, and the Ice Cream Cart. Aaron has the Fisher Price Buggy, the Playhouse, the T-ball set, and the Corn Popper. And I have the Teaching Clock, the Food Truck, the Kitchen, and the Fish Set. We're
Very
gonna put
cool.
this out on Twitter. I'm gonna put this out on Twitter today. Today's Wednesday, November 16th. And so look for it on Twitter today. Head over to @YoungDadPod on Twitter. Tell us who you think won the draft. Can't wait to hear from Brad to see who Stella thinks won the draft. He will probably go with her dad since he knows her best. So he
Yeah.
might have cheated. I'm calling collusion right now if she picks yours.
Insider information.
Insider information. Well, Brad, it was super fun having you on. Thanks for being here. Is there any last thing you want to say to anyone out there? Any last piece of parenting advice or anything else?
I don't know. I think I've shared all of the limited wisdom that I have about parenting, especially a child on the spectrum.
No, and you're just talking to you, super insightful. I'm sure our listeners will absolutely love it. Our people love it. Our Lush Studio audience loves it. We thank you. Thanks for listening. Make sure you leave 5 stars, subscribe, share with a friend, all that fun stuff. Hit up our link tree and all that. And Brad, tell the people where they can find more of you.
So every Tuesday, Baseball Together podcast, we come out with new episodes. We call that The Big Show. And Jay and I host the Seattle Baseball Together podcast. Like he said, that is in hibernation, but that will be back in like February or March for spring training. I don't know. Keep in touch with Jay, and he'll let you know where you can find that.
We're just working on some just incredible content for next year's C-Pod.
That's right. We're baking it up. It'll be ready.
There's just too much going on with the Mariners right now.
And then every Saturday morning, Willie B and Dad Gaming drops a new episode of something that Wilson and I play. Some video game we play. Like this last week, we did Minecraft Dungeons. It was a ton of fun. I have no idea what we're going to play this week, but there will be a new video Saturday morning. You can count on it.
Sounds awesome. Well, guys, make sure you hit all those places. Follow Brad, follow the Young Dad Pod, share it with a friend, leave all those stars, subscribe to all the channels, leave all the stars. Have yourself a great rest of your week, and we will be back with you next week here on the Young Dad Podcast. There's so many different reasons to celebrate Movember. For guys, we get to grow awesome mustaches, awesome beards. If you're not a bro, you don't have to grow to save a bro. You can move 60 miles throughout the course of November. You can also launch a fundraiser on Movember.com. Head over to our link tree, the very first link, Movember. Our goal is to raise $500 to help bring awareness to men's suicide, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer, and to help bring awareness and help those we've lost who can't help themselves any further, but we can help prevent it from spreading further. Men's suicide rate in the United States is 4-1. Other countries, it's as high as 60-1. One man dies every minute of every day around the world. Every 60 minutes, there's 60 men that die by suicide. That's one suicide a minute. That is too many. Help us end it. Go over to our link tree. Even $10 helps kick us off, get us started, get us moving in the right direction so we can help support men. Men support men, help support Movember, launch more amazing projects to help in your community, my community, and around the world to help people plan and to help bring more awareness to men's mental health.